starts in the summer. So I found out that I got in. I was thankful. I was like happy. I was ecstatic because I was like, listen, like if I don't get into this, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I was still working. I started clinical in the summer, so it was foundations and pathophysiology. So like that was also another ball game because like those classes it was faster because it's a summer course and it's a short period of time. I made it through that somehow, some way too. You get burned out so quickly because literally we had like a week and a half between the spring and the summer, and like that week and a half was spent getting all my vaccines, getting all my paperwork, getting my immunization records, getting like my physicals, getting all my stuff together, like everything that you need for the application to be able to be accepted into the program. And then we had orientation, like bang, the 2 days right after, like it was so fast. So then I finally finished the semester. I passed that semester too, and then they did not grandfather us in when we got in to us being accepted, because our admission rate was 77 pass rate. When we got accepted, they said they were changing it to 80 and that we weren't grandfathered in. So from the moment we got in at the summer, our grade to pass had to be an 80. And we're on a 7-point grading scale, so anything below a 93 was a B, anything below an 86 was a C. But I passed with B's and I moved on. So like literally after that, we had another week and a half, like literally a week and a half between summer semester, because that ended on like August 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, and then fall semester, which started on like August 13th. So I went home from New York. I tried to rejuvenate myself, which was really nice. I was able to sleep, not work, and then I came back and literally busted out summer semester. I also was very blessed though, because I was supposed to be in med surg and pharm, which is like one of the harder combination classes to take your first semester in the program. Like the summer semester was like your first semester in, and half the program got dropped because they didn't pass. But like the first semester of like fall in, you either take pharm in med surg and then other classes, or psych in med surg and then other classes. I took pharm. I was supposed to take pharmacology and med surg, which is a hard combo with 12-hour clinicals. Somehow, some way, because of the way that people got dropped, when I went home to visit for that week I had off, I got an email saying I had been switched from my cohort to the one taking psych in pharmacology, which is an easier load in a different sense. Clinicals are only 6 hours, so it was easier for me to work the day after clinical. You can't work before clinical. Like I couldn't work overnights and then go to clinical, but I could work after clinical, and it was easier to do so because I would get up at 1 versus if I was taking med surg, it'd be a 7 to 7. Like I can't go in at 10 and work overnight after working for 12 hours as a nurse in the hospital. So like that, I was confused and I was thankful. So I came in. Psych was hard because like we took, like it was a didactic front load, so like all of our tests and most of our tests and most of our formal like lecture learning was like 3 days a week, 4 3-hour classes in the beginning of this, like, in the first like 2 months of the semester. So we had finished most of our tests for the semester by like September, and then we started clinical and it was like more spread out after that. Pharmacology was also a little bit different because that class was only twice a week and it was only like an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, and it was just a lot of like, I didn't remember taking pharmacology like that in like LPN school. It was just a different ball game. But at the end, and then I'm taking junior seminar, and then because med surg is a 7 credit class and psych is only 4, we're taking older adult health. That class doesn't start until October. So my understanding was that like one class would end and then this older adult health class would start. No, it just starts up with your other courses in the middle of October. So look, at that point I'm taking pharmacology, psych, I'm taking a gym class because that was the one GEC that I hadn't taken that was due, and I'm taking junior seminar, which is like a 1 credit class that was kind of like a little bit extra but not horrible, and then this older adult health class was like sprinkled in there, and I was like, holy crap, like I am freaking out. So it was just a lot of balancing. I had to figure out different ways to study. I had to figure out how to balance my shifts. I had to end up because you don't know your clinical, like, you know your classes, but you know your clinical day and your schedule until you start. So I had to like switch from I was doing 2 8s and 2 12s pretty well and balancing 40 hours a week pretty well through the summer. But I had to go down to 3 12s once I started clinical, which is kind of difficult because Friday and Saturday wasn't that bad, but Tuesday was difficult because I had class until 3 and then I had to be there by 6. So I went down to 3 12s for the most part, taking off a day here and there and supplementing it with something else if I had a test that was like the day after a night shift. So that worked out pretty well for most of the semester. But it was still a balancing act, figuring out how I studied best, figuring out what I need to do as a person to prepare for these tests and understand the material. And like, I think that if I wasn't working, I would do a lot better than I am. But I'm also thankful because I haven't been, knock on wood, at risk of failing. I haven't been like on the borderline. I've passed all my tests with 80s or higher, which I'm thankful for. So like, I can't complain because I'm balancing it pretty okay for someone who's still working full time and taking all these classes. And I started Ubering and lifting on the side, not as much as I'd like to, but still for some supplemental income, because I am broke as hell right now. I am behind on my credit card payments. I am behind on bills, but like, I'm thankful because I'm surviving. I'm almost at work, so I'm trying to speed this up a little bit. Long story short, now here we are at the end of this long year. A year later after this decision to leave my job. A year later after quitting and being so I remember I have a video of me crying in December because I was afraid and like not sure what I was going to be doing, how I was going to get these shifts, how I was going to be full time, how I was going to like be able to survive and get everything to fall into place. And when I tell, like, my lesson to this whole thing, my lesson to this whole thing has been this: God's timing. God is always on time.